let's get our second game going. And this time, we're going to be taking a look at a game from way back in 1907. And it's a game from Kiba Rubinstein. We were just looking at one of his variations in the previous game, so it seems nice that we're moving on. And we're going to be taking a look at a Tarrasch, Queen's Gambit. And this is a great place to start theoretically. And when I started studying this position, because I had students playing this with both colors, one of the keys that I noticed was the main line being this odd A3 move. And let's understand why A3 is the main line. If black is to play some natural looking move, like bishop E7, this is already a problem, because I capture on C5, where you need to move the bishop again. Then I play B4, and the point of A3 is seen, and you have to move the bishop again. So I've tricked you into moving your bishop multiple times while I've gained space and achieved a great square for the dark square bishop on B2. So A3 is a critical move in understanding the position, and it's definitely something white should consider when playing this. Now, the move that I recommend to my students when faced with A3 is simply taking on D4. And we're able to then move our bishop where we have no threat of capture and being tempoed over and over, being forced to move our bishop again. White typically plays a move like C5, and after knight E4, you can get this dynamic and rich position for both sides to explore. So, coming back, after D takes C5, which was played in the main game, black gets to develop in one go. After A3, A6 was played, and this is a bit more advantageous than the initial A3 example. So after bishop D6, of course, you do not want to take on D5 because we have this tactic of bishop B4 check and the queen hangs. Always good to know these basic tactics and the structures that you play, and that's one of my theories of chess excellence, is if you only play a handful of openings, you need to know all of the existing tactical themes within those openings. But if you play everything, the chances of you learning every tactical theme, if you can, you're probably well on your way to being an elite grandmaster. So, bishop B2 was played, and after castles, queen D2. And this is just a really bad spot for the queen. White should probably take on D5 and get his light square bishop developed and simply castle. Not much more can be said about that. The lack of development is going to be costly, as we'll see. Queen E7, and this is a fine moment to sacrifice a pawn. Because say, for instance, if C takes D, E takes D, knight takes, queen takes, rook D8, and black's got reasonable compensation for the pawn, and as white is still way behind in development. It's very much a pure gambit. But after queen E7, white elects to play bishop D3, tempo the bishop, rook D8, queen E2 to get off the pin. We keep seeing white waste more and more and more time. Black is completely developed with a symmetrical structure. It's white's move. After castles, we can already see that from all the loss of time in this exact mirror image position, black has taken over the initiative, and that's got to feel good. It's good to know that you are playing white with the black pieces in the symmetrical position because you've outplayed your opponent. So he should already get that build, and we need to start the attack. Knight E5. And after takes, we're threatening to win a pawn with bishop takes h2, and queen d6. So white needs to do something about that f4. And to solve one issue, you're going to develop more. Now the e3 pawn is going to be weak. He moves the e pawn. Rook a c8, invite everybody to the party. And after e5, this is a great moment to pause and figure out an aggressive plan for black here. All right, hopefully you took the time to pause. So first, let's optimize our pieces. Bishop b6 check. And now the exclam move, knight g4. Because if white captures on g4, he loses the bishop on d3. And it should be noted that if he decides to jettison the bishop first, after rook d2, we have the dual threat of b2 and g2 due to the strong bishops. Bishop e4 was played, logical, defend the bishop, try to get rid of one of these attackers. But the attack's not stopping. Queen h4, threatening mate. And it should be noted after h3 that we have a very, very fancy way of playing here. See if you can find it. All right, hopefully you took time to find rook takes c3, and after bishop takes e4, queen takes, h takes, and rook d3 wins, with the idea of rook h3 being mate or taking the bishop. Very, very beautiful. After queen h4, the other move is g3, which was played in the game. And this will be our final pause of the video. Black to play and win. I will be impressed if you get this one. Okay. Rook takes c3, remove that guard. And after he takes the queen, rook d2 with another piece sacrifice, which white accepts. Check. And rook h3 to finish it off, because if white captures on e4, rook h2 is mate with absolutely perfect piece harmony. And that'll do it for this beautiful game. And that's easily one of the most beautiful tactical sequences in chess history.